After entering your origin and destination and successfully testing those, we can create our first map. I do that by clicking on the Mapping ribbon. And we have a lot of different things we can do on this screen. Starting with the ribbon up here, we have XREF lists. These are cross-reference lists. These are lists that are stored locally, either in a text file or in a local SQLite database. And you can choose whether you want to use SQLite or a text file by editing the web Starfish config file. If you want more information about that, simply check out our wiki. We have before operations, which are scripts that run before we run any stages we create. So for example, I may have a before operation that is a variable VB script, C# or JavaScript, and I'm pulling in a specific date field, like the date this job was last run. I can pull that out with a VB script. Say I want to do that before I connect to my origin, and then I can pass that variable back into my origin. Or I could have a VB script that runs after I've done my connection and I've queried my origin. So I'm starting the row and I want to take a look at the row. So I may say, all right, I'm reading this account from Sugar. I want to see if it's a customer or a prospect. If it's a customer, go to this stage or do this. If it's a prospect, go to this stage or do that. Our stages are at where we actually map data. So let's go ahead and click on Manage Stages here. I can create my first stage here, Add Stage. And I'm going to say I want to update/insert accounts. If you're doing a data migration, this is probably the way you'd want to go. So I can choose Accounts here. We have some other options here. Skip behavior. Do you want to skip the row or the stage? If you run the skip if blank selection, which is a checkbox. Multiple skip logic, is it an or an and? There's a checkbox we can check that will skip if a field is blank. You can omit blank field value rights. So if you're running an integration from an ERP into CRM, for example, and the ERP phone number gets deleted, you don't want to write a blank phone number into your CRM, so you might check that to omit any blank field value rights. Or maybe you do want to write blank values, so you don't check that. Only update on difference. This would have to compare each value from the origin to the destination and only update it if there's a difference. This could be important if your destination throttles you based on how many updates you're doing. Although the fact that you're running queries into your destination to compare to your origin would probably be more processor intensive and actually is slower, so generally I've never used that. And similarly, do you want to include file creation fields? There's more information about these in the wiki, but they're generally not used. The omit blank field value rights is the one that's used the most. So now I have my update insert account stage. I click OK. I click OK here. And I click this drop down to find my first stage I've created. This job can contain multiple stages if I want to. For example, if I'm reading from an ERP that's giving me an account with 3 addresses and 3 phone numbers, and I'm writing into a system, CRM system, where all of that data is stored in different tables, I would have to have a stage for each table, because your stage can only write to one table. So I would need a stage to write to the accounts, a stage to write to the addresses table, a stage to write to the phone number tables. Once you've selected your stage, you can choose your fields. There is an auto map. Now I'm reading and writing to the exact same source and destination. So if I auto map, it's going to map every single field, and I don't want that right now. But there are times where you would want to read from and write to the same destination if you want to, let's say, transform data. So I have this ID field here. I can match on that. Maybe I want to come down here and I have this account type field and I have an industry field. And actually, people have been using these as the same field, and I want to combine them. So I can come in here and just map account type to industry to move any data in account type to industry. I can run this update, and I'm moving data from one field to another. And in fact, this would be a good example of when I would want to check that omit blank field rights, because I don't want to take blank account type values and write them to the industry. You'll notice I have to reselect my stage here after changing the stage to reload it. Now if I were to come in here and click Preview First Row, it's going to show me the results of that. I can see it's going to pass customer into the industry field, and it's going to perform an update. If I view the log, it's going to tell me more information about it. How many origin rows did it find? What's the ID returning for my field mapping ID? What's the value being returned for my industry? Well, it's customer. It's doing an update. It's saying it found one. It's going to run an update type stage because I am running an update or insert. And then I could run that job. And again, I like to run with 1 to start with on high logging, and it's going to tell me I'm missing my license key. But if that wasn't there, it would update that record for me.